Hey folks, this is Damon at Greenhorn Gardening. Let's talk about how to build raised beds. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do raised beds. One, you can have what I call a ground bed, where you're really just growing in the ground and you're just kind of mounding things up over it to raise the height of the bed itself. And then there's this kind of raised bed where you're actually growing everything above ground. In fact, this is an old raised bed that I had before I put the drip lines in. Let's talk about a little bit of a variation, how it works. You basically want to get some 2x10s. 2x10s or 2x12s. This is like a 1x10, I believe. I think it's a 1x12, but just use the 2x because it's cheaper and it's much stronger. Buy some deck screws so you can screw them in here from the sides, and I usually go with an 8x4. That gives you 32 square feet of growing space. This is compost, old compost, and mixture with a little bit of sand, and there's some wood chips in it as well. Haven't quite broken down. As you can see, I had some old cardboard down, but I put down the cloth here. This kind of cloth you can buy it at your gardening center. Old wood, old corn shucks, things like that. There's a couple of different mixtures you can put in, but let's just move on. And the main thing about raised beds, you got to have a way to feed the plants. And you can continue to dump in fertilizer, but you want to have something that kind of runs automatically, is what I think, to help you save time. Worm bin, 18-gallon worm bin, drill holes in it, put a little bit of the compost in. This hole's about ½ inch size. I think it's 3/8 or a ½ inch, something like that. Just put it right there in the middle of the bin. And you fill it up with, I've got leaves, I got old corn shucks, kitchen scraps in here, and I put some more bedding in there. And the worms, you just dump them straight on in, and the end, this whole thing will look something like this. Now, you want to put a cover on this, right? Just the cover that comes with the little can here, the bucket. But the idea is that the worms are going to be eating this and processing it and turning it into rich, fertile compost, worm compost, that will feed this entire bin, this entire bed. And the idea is I bought 5 pounds of worms. They should be here in a few days, and I'll dump them in, and they'll start working. The idea is that if you want to build a new one, you can just take a handful of worms from here and just put them in the new bed if you wanted, over here somewhere, whatever. And that's how that works. So if you want more tips and tricks, come over to greenhorngardening.com/claim to get your free ebook, and I will see you later. Grow 'em big.